how do you think about the kind of the geopolitical? I mean, are you in, I guess let me be more specific. Are you investors in China today, or do you have to hit pause given what's happening despite the fundamentals of what may or may not be happening on the ground in China?
I mean, we're an American firm, to be sure, proud to be part of CBRE, but we've always been a global investor and thought of ourselves as very nimbly moving capital from one region to another in all directions. Interestingly, after our acquisition of ING Rhine in 2011, so a large Dutch insurer, or rather their asset management piece, more of our AUM is actually in Europe than it is in the US, which a lot of people don't know. And up until sort of 2020, the vast majority of our capital in China would have been American. A lot of our capital invested in Europe would have been Asian. So really, we're led by the clients. We're led by a combination of going through our extensive house view process. Where do we think the best opportunities are? And hopefully making that case, arguing that thesis, and seeing where our capital sources are willing to follow us. Now, what I would say I've seen as a trend really in the last 2 to 3 years, ever since the pandemic, the Russian invasion of Ukraine, a heightened awareness of geopolitical tensions, that you have seen at the margins a slight regionalization of capital flows. But for example, if you had certain sources that weren't as willing to go to China from outside of Asia Pacific, you found very sophisticated Asia Pacific investors who were more than willing to take up that allocation, right? So it's going to be fascinating though, isn't it, Brandon, to see how European attitudes and Asia Pacific attitudes towards the US sort of develop over the next few months. So far, we're not really seeing anyone saying to us, on geopolitical grounds, we're on pause. But we'll see what happens. I think it's very early days. People are still almost in that sort of shock and digestion phase, right, of this new global order.